Tonight we continue our 70 Stories for 70 Years series with a man that has provided the Arklatex with countless stories, our legendary broadcaster Bob Griffin.
One of a kind indeed. When you throw the word legend around, this one definitely fits. Oh, yeah. Alex Anderson joining us live tonight to share some more of these stories about Bob. Hey, Alex.
Hey guys, you know, when Bob passed in 2020, we heard so many incredible stories from so many athletes, coaches, viewers, and even co-workers. And when I was tasked with this assignment earlier this year, I wanted to see if I could find some more stories that we haven't heard before. But with someone who has made such an impact as Bob Griffin, it wasn't too difficult to find them. Whether it was newspaper, radio, television news, travel, even a kids show.
And I don't know, I may dance when we come back.
Bob Griffin could really do it all. His true calling, however, was sports. Darryl Rabouche was hired by Bob in 1978 and still remembers the call that changed his life.
My phone rang. Hi, Darryl, it's Bob Griffin. And I said, oh, hey, Mr. Griffin, how are you? And he said, I understand you are interested in working in the sports department here. And I said, oh, yeah, I still am. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, yeah, I mean, you interviewed me last week. And he said, oh, you're the same guy? And I said, yeah. Well, two people had given him my name. And I said, yeah, I'm the same guy. He goes, okay, you're hired. Start Monday. With the exception of my parents and my wife and children, nobody had a bigger impact on my life than Bob Griffin.
In his over 60 years of work in the Arklatex, Bob would make countless connections with both his co-workers and those he covered. He was at Terry Bradshaw's house when he was selected first overall by the Steelers. And even though he slept through Joe Ferguson's signing with Arkansas, he still told the story in a way only Bob could. He even made the trip to Birmingham, Alabama in the 1970s to visit with a young Denny Duron, who was playing for the Birmingham Americans of the WFL.
Boy, my grandmother got a hold of him. And it was the funniest thing because it was, you know, they loved each other. I mean, he loved her, he loved Mama, and she just thought the world of him. There was never a time in the years right after that he didn't mention my grandmother. He would see me and say, I think Mama is proud of me.
When Bob semi-retired in 2002, his impact on local news was already firmly cemented.
The general manager of this television station, right. Griffin gave him his first job.
Exactly. And a few years later, George Servin returned the favor, hiring Bob to anchor weekend news here at KTBS. It wasn't until 2017 that Bob would return to his true passion of sports to begin writing what would be the final chapter in his legendary career.
This is Griffin's game, so you get Griffin's game ball. Congratulations.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
The Griffin's game was supposed to be the ultimate tribute to our legend, but it was the coaches and players he covered that always felt special. Bob handed out 45 Griffin's game balls through the years, and the man that received the first one also got the last. Houghton's Jason Brotherton never lost a Griffin's game, but it was that final one that will stick with him forever.
Play came to our side, and Bob got taken out. It was kind of scary, really. And so the referee gave us a sideline warning. Well, and of course, I lost my mind. I start yelling, so then I get a penalty. And I'm like, that's not one of our coaches. That's Bob Griffin. The biggest win of my coaching career, the biggest win in Houghton High School in the last 35 years. I've still got the picture of Bob Griffin handing me that ball after the game. And, you know, those are special memories that we'll never forget.
Bob's legacy continues at KTBS with the Griffin's Player of the Week. These athletes weren't around to see most of his career, but can still learn a lot from the man on those Griffin's game balls.
He was this area's biggest cheerleader for a long, long time. And, you know, you don't always have to look for the greener grass. Sometimes you water and fertilize the grass where you're standing. And he did that. He did that in a very, very powerful and meaningful way.
I think that's what we're all striving for, is to find something we can do that we really love. And he mastered that.
That was the thing that Bob did better than anybody, is that he just really, really loved people.
Now, one thing Daryl Rabouche said in our interview that really stuck out to me is that Bob set the standard for sports broadcasting here in the Arklatex, and so many of us in the area are still following his example. I'll always be grateful for the time I was able to spend with Bob and wouldn't be here doing this job if it wasn't for him. We certainly miss him every day here at KTBS.